Good evening. Coming up in the next 60 minutes. Tonight, how did baby Travis Maina die with a fork jembe lodged on his head at Kenyatta National Hospital?
Mimi kwangu niliona kama huko Kenyatta wangeshughulika huyo mtoto hangekufa. Alikuwa anazungumza vizuri.
His mother tells senators that the hospital wanted her to make a deposit before attending to him. Several cabinet secretaries take over respective ministries, promising to serve.
And therefore, as I take over, I want to assure Kenyans that we will be working with the team and stakeholders to make sure that we reorganize.
They were sworn in last week. Mixed reactions as government insists on Kenyans paying more tax.
The president had a working lunch with them on Saturday, and we have agreed. They will collect very aggressively 3 trillion. We ask everybody to pay taxes.
But the opposition is faulting Ruto's administration for burdening Kenyans.
Lakini ushuru huwezi kupandisha bila wakilishi ya wananchi kuketi chini na kuongea.
3 university students arraigned in court over multi-million KCSE exam leakage scam. Mbesa is our sign language interpreter. Good evening, I'm Abubakar Abdullahi. Welcome to the broadcast. Now, the Senate Health Committee, chaired by Uasin Gishu Senator Jackson Mandagor, today met Judy Muthoni, mother to the late Travis Maina, who succumbed to a fork jembe head injury at the Kenyatta National Hospital. The probe, which is part of a series of appearances before the committee aimed at establishing the cause of the death of the 2-year-old, saw a harrowing account of moments leading to the death of the young Travis. Zaina Mohammed begins our broadcast tonight.
Judy Muthoni, mother to the late Travis Maina, narrated the harrowing account leading to the death of the 2-year-old.
Nikatumwa room 4 kutoka hapo kwa receptionist. Ile wakati niliingia huko room 4, ule daktari nilikuta huko alikuwa tu anapaguza meza. Hata kuangalia mwenye ameingia, kanisautia kaniambia, "Wewe mama, hata ulipe pesa alafu ukuze."
The family that significantly blamed Kenyatta National Hospital for the death of young Travis said the hospital treated them with contempt due to lack of enough funds to foot the bills. According to the family, the hospital required them to make a deposit of 20,500 shillings before the innocent boy was attended to.
Kwa wewe, kwa maoni yako kama mama, najua ni uchungu kwa wewe kuweza kueleza, lakini tunaomba tu tusikie kutoka kwako.
Mimi kwangu niliona kama huko Kenyatta wangeshughulika huyo mtoto hangekufa. Alikuwa anazungumza vizuri. Anaitisha chakula, maji, chai. Sasa tukauliza ama tumpe chai mama ya maji, wakasema tusijaribu kumpea kitu. Sasa Kenyatta walikosea juu hakuna kitu walikusaidia.
The committee said it cannot ascertain as at now whether or not negligence played a part in the death of the 2-year-old, but promised to get to the bottom of the matter.
Hospitali yetu kuu ya Kenyatta sasa inafanya matibabu wagonjwa ambao wamepewa rufaa, na kwa hivyo tulitarajia kidogo angeweza kufanya vyema kuliko jinsi alivyo, lakini kama kamati hatuwezi kwa sasa kuweza kuelekeza lawama hapa na pale mpaka tuweze kuwasikiza kila na mmoja ambaye amehusika katika matibabu ya mtoto huyu.
Next week, the committee will be meeting the management of Thika Level 5 Hospital and representatives from Kiambu County Government. The committee will also be visiting Kenyatta National Hospital in a bid to identify the doctor who treated the young boy. Young Travis succumbed to his injuries on October 11th at Kenyatta National Hospital. He was referred to the National Hospital by Thika Level 5 Hospital due to the complicated nature of his injury that saw a fork lodge in his head. Zainab Mohammed, T47.
Now, Kenyans will have to bear tax burden as the Kenya Kwanza government sets a target of collecting 3 trillion shillings annually through the Kenya Revenue Authority. In its proposal, the government is eyeing to take more from the formerly employed persons, landlords and business enterprises, while still calling for proposals of Kenyans to better their savings amid tough economic times. Moige William reports that the opposition chief Raila Odinga has, however, faulted the move.
In its new measures to increase on tax collection, the government is targeting 3 trillion shillings through the taxman. The measures proposed now raising concerns from Kenyans who will have to feel the pain.
And we ask everybody to pay taxes. It's a responsibility.
President Ruto has proposed that Kenyans with a KRA PIN match with the number of mobile money transfer customers, a measure that could see every Kenyan above 18 years brought into the tax bracket.
Safaricom's M-Pesa has 30 million registered customers transacting billions daily. The fact that this opportunity remains unclear to KRA demonstrates why radical changes are necessary.
Lakini ushuru huwezi kupandisha bila wakilishi ya wananchi kuketi chini na kuongea. There must be also public participation. You cannot just rise up one day and say we are going to increase NSSF, NHIF, bila wabunge kujadiliana.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, in a meeting with the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, KEPSA, called on all entrepreneurs to pay up taxes, insisting the government will aggressively embark in collecting revenue from different avenues. 3 months at the helm of the country's leadership, President William Ruto underlined his focus on upscaling revenue collection, with Kenya Revenue Authority's target set at 3 trillion shillings annually.
And we have discussed with KRA, and now we have reached a consensus. The President had a working lunch with them on Saturday, and we have agreed. They will collect very aggressively 3 trillion.
At the backdrop of KRA's 3 trillion shillings target, Kenyans will have to carve more from their pockets if Ruto's regime proposals are implemented. Among the areas targeted to achieve the ambitious revenue target is from salaried workers through statutory deductions and land rates, which will largely impact on the common mwananchi who is grappling with the high cost of living and a poor economy. Another proposal that is seen to choke Kenyans' pocket are the NHIF and NSSF contribution proposals by the President himself. The new government is pushing for the increase of contributions, both NHIF and NSSF, with the President announcing that in 2 weeks the government will publish new regulation to improve the culture of saving in the country via National Social Security Fund NSSF.
Neno la Mungu linasema mtu mwema huachia watoto wake akiba. Lakini sisi kwa Kenya ya leo watoto wetu hawatakuwa na akiba.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua on his part has called on eligible Kenyans to pay up tax to the government while reassuring entrepreneurs the Kenya Kwanza government will create a conducive working environment.
But let us treat taxpayers with dignity, because they are the clients. And the client is the most important person in any engagement.
Even with the government eyeing to get more from Kenyans' pocket, who are lamenting of high cost of living and tough economic times, it will be a wait-and-see situation on how the Kenya Kwanza government will achieve its ambitious 3 trillion shillings tax collection. The taxman currently collects less than 2 trillion shillings. Last week, the central bank invited Kenyans to invest in a 60 billion shillings bond to fund expansion of infrastructure, including roads and power supply. Moige William, TV 47.
Moving on, the Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms has begun its next phase of the assignments of public participation by ensuring they collect Kenyans' views on the competency-based curriculum. The Working Party's chair has been in Turkana County, where he expressed optimism with the exercise that is set to officially kick off on Tuesday. Our senior education affairs reporter Sharon Baranga now reports.
From Tuesday, Kenyans are expected to turn up in large numbers at designated points in the country to air their views on the competency-based curriculum CBC to the Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms. The Working Party's chair, Professor Raphael Munavu, was in Turkana County to assess the level of preparedness ahead of the exercise set to start on Tuesday.
And I believe that we are going to get a lot of positive suggestions from the residents of Turkana. We are going to be engaging with all the stakeholders, the SACCOs, the associations, the teachers, the parents, and so we expect tomorrow is going to be a very engaging period.
Residents of Turkana County will participate in the exercise from Lodwar Boys High School.
We are requesting those who are making suggestions to precisely tell us what may be challenges, but also how can we solve those challenges that there are. What are the critical needs? Because really the most important thing that we can do for this country is ensure that our children are properly educated, they are properly skilled, moving the way forward.
Munavu placed a public invitation to all Kenyans to turn up and give their views on the challenges they have noted on the new curriculum. The Working Party, with a membership of over 40 members, has split in groups so that they are in a position to visit all the counties.
We have 10 teams. We are just one of them. The other teams in Mombasa, in Kisumu area, in Northeastern, Mandera, Southeastern, and so on, have also started their work today. The brief we are getting is that they have, and they are communicating, is that they have done the engagement very well. Some people started the engagements even as early as yesterday. So all the teams, the 10 of them, will be engaging tomorrow with the public participation groups, the town meetings where we are receiving feedback from the public.
Members of the Working Party will spend 2 days in each county documenting Kenyans' opinions from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The Working Party is also receiving recommendations in form of proposals through written memoranda, letters, or research papers. The Working Party is not starting from ground zero, but it will also consult reports from previous commissions and working parties. Kenyans have until 18th November 2022 to submit their concerns on the competency-based curriculum. The Working Party on Education Reforms has 6 months to deliver a conclusive report on the recommendations that they will arrive at after engaging with education stakeholders and also conducting a public participation. Sharon Baranga, TV 47.
Tonight, Azimio Coalition Party leader Raila Odinga has criticized President William Ruto for reneging on his August 9th campaign promises on the Hustler Fund and the war on corruption. Odinga, who spoke during a burial in Kakamega County, further watered down President William Ruto's charm offensive in the Nyanza region, terming it as futile. As Apollo Kamau now reports, on a day the opposition brigade lashed out at Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, telling him to leave Raila alone.
On a day, the opposition forces converged at the burial of Philomena Barasa, mother to Kakamega Governor Fernandez Barasa. Azimio Party leader Raila Odinga took President William Ruto head-on, criticizing him for failing to meet his election promises deadlines, the Hustler Fund, and applying double standards in the war on graft.
Wakati wa campaign kulikuwa na ahadi mingi zaidi. Tutaleta pesa ya Hustler. Kutakuwa hakuna riba, interest free. Hii bilioni 50. Ingine ile ya kina mama, bilioni 100. Lakini sasa wameanza kubadilisha maneno sasa. Hakuna pesa serikali wanaweza kupata bila interest. Itakuwa less than 10%. Ile ingine ni mambo ya bei ya mafuta, bei ya unga. Sasa mimi nataka mpate mimi mwaka moja. Walisema nikiweka Biblia chini itarudi chini. Sasa hali yote umewaje.
Odinga, who over the weekend said he is not ready to hang his political boots, dismissed President Ruto's sustained charm offensive to work with rebels in his Nyanza turf, dismissing it as inconsequential.
Jukumu ya kuleta maendeleo, sio ati uende ubemberese hao upige magoti chini ati utapata maendeleo. Hapana. Maendeleo itakuja hapa, wapende wasipende. Kwa hivyo hiyo mambo ya kusema ati ingia kwa serikali ni upuzi.
Odinga charging his political base that he will speak when the time is right on his next political move ahead of a crucial month when the Azimio exit clause comes alive on November 9 for Azimio affiliate parties willing to stay put or exit.
Watu ambao walikuwa wameshtakiwa na mauaji sasa wanasamehewa. Mheshimiwa Waluke, mjumbe wa Seresia, kesi yake ilikuwa ni kama civil case. Manake yeye walidai pesa na wakalipwa. Badala ya kusema hiyo pesa ulilipwa kwa njia ambayo si nzuri, irudisha, amewekwa ndani.
The Azimio Brigade lashed out at Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, telling him to keep off Odinga. The Deputy President criticized Odinga on Sunday, saying Kenya Kwanza is not interested in Odinga joining government.
Anaweka. Lakini mimi siwezi kujiwana na hao watu. Sirika yangu.
Even ndugu Gachagua, whom I don't understand, huyo simuelewi. Rigathi, yeye alienda huko Kitui akasema huyu Kalonzo hatumuelewi. I have never had a moment with him.
Na Rigathi amezoea kuzungumzia Raila kila mahali, anazungumzia Raila. Sijui hata kama nalala usiku karibu na mama, ndoto ambayo anaota ni Raila. Awaje kusumbua mama watoto na Raila, hata kama nalala Raila. Wafanye kazi.
Apul Kamau, TV47.
Moving on, 3 university students linked to a KCSE exam leakage scam have been arraigned in court today. They are said to have minted millions from Kenyans in an exam leakage scam via Telegram app.
Three students from Egerton University were arraigned in court Monday morning for obtaining millions of shillings from parents and KCSE candidates via Telegram's forums in the pretext that they will sell them examination materials for the forthcoming national examinations. The detectives attached with the Kenya National Examination Council launched investigations into the scam last week and have so far arrested the 3 who are based at the university's main campus in Joro, Nakuru County. The mastermind of the syndicate, Kelvin Anunda Mogaka, alias Professor Lecho Das, age 24, a fourth-year Bachelor of Science, Education, Mathematics and Physics, was lured into a trap by the detectives on Thursday night and led them to his house in Joro, Nakuru County. Mogaka, who lives large in a well-furnished apartment, had created 2 Telegram groups with over 13,000 followers, where he is believed to have obtained millions of shillings from parents who parted with between 5,000 to 20,000 to help their children steal the examination. Detectives raided the suspect's house and recovered dozens of SIM cards and identity cards that the suspect had used to open fraudulent M-Pesa and bank accounts where the received money will be deposited. In one such account at Equity Bank Kisii branch belonging to his brother, who is a teacher in Mogongo Girls Secondary School, about Kenya shillings 2 million was flagged by the detectives, who also discovered that the suspect also operated a similar account at the Kisii KCB branch. The Telegram groups contained instructions on how the payments will be made, with members being cautioned to strictly follow the procedure to save time. Avoid many stories. All papers are available. Read one of the messages in the Telegram group. The suspect's kin told detectives that Mogaka had earlier informed him that he had hit the jackpot after a successful bet and would be sending him money to put up a house for him at their home in Mosocho, Nyamira County. When the detectives visited the homestead in Nyamusi, they confirmed that indeed the 4th-year student was not your usual varsity comrade, but was in the process of putting up a modest house in the village against all odds. The suspect led the detectives to 2 other accomplices, Francis Manyara Ogata, alias Professor Ranchodas, and Bravin Ombogi, both 4th-year students at Egerton University, pursuing BA in Education, Maths and Geography courses. During the raid, the detectives recovered 6 mobile phones, 8 identity cards and ATM cards, all linked to the fraudulent Telegram and bank accounts. The suspects were this morning arraigned at Milimani Law Courts and released on a 1 million shilling bond, or 500,000 Kenya shillings, with surety of the same amount. Parents and students have been cautioned not to join such fraudulent groups.
Now, days after their swearing-in, Cabinet Secretaries Aden Duale, Susan Nakhumicha, Salim Mvurya and Simon Chelugui have today taken over their respective ministries, the four promising to steer the Kenya Kwanza manifesto. This story was produced by Andrew Juma.
And maybe you can stand up just for...
At Afya House, Mutahi Kagwe handed over to Susan Nakhumicha as the Health Cabinet Secretary. Kagwe priding himself of having reformed the ministry, which he at some point claimed was captured by cartels.
So I could not repeat, I could not mention each one and every one of you. But I just want you to know that there is nothing that I personally took for granted. You know, I remember harassing the PS almost every day. Please get us some money for this, get us.
And many of you have asked whether I will fit in Senator Mutahi Kagwe's shoes. Obviously, no. I'm sure his shoe size could be 42 or something thereabout, while mine is at 38. So I come with my own shoe and heels for that matter.
His tenure at the ministry was faced by the COVID-19 pandemic and COVID scandal. Nakhumicha promising to pick up from where Kagwe left in reforming Afya House.
And I want to call upon my colleagues and to call upon everybody else within the ministry that as we land, as we are planted here for this season, let us make a difference.
At the Ministry of Labour, Simon Chelugui ushered in Florence Bore, promising to ensure that the ministry creates more job opportunities for Kenyans in the next 5 years. Her entry into the ministry coming at the backdrop of constant complaints of Kenyans being killed in the Gulf countries.
I'm not far, I'll be available, I'm a phone call away. You can always reach out for anything. You have a wonderful team, and I believe nothing will go wrong.
My doors will be wide open and will always remain open for any consultation.
Salim Mvurya is also a new cabinet secretary, joining Ruto's cabinet as mining and blue economy minister. The former Kwale governor promised to create jobs for Kenyans through mining and blue economy.
As you already know, this is a new ministry which His Excellency the President has put together so that then the country can realize their potential in the different aspects of this ministry.
His Excellency President William Ruto has configured this ministry in a very useful and synergized manner, mining both on land and offshore. You know, I think that is the way to conceive it. And this is because, in my mind, this is the next frontier of Kenya's wealth growth.
Thank you very much.
Asante.
A week after the investigative agency DCI Director Amin Mohamed requested the families of victims affected by the kidnapping and subsequent death of their kin to appear before his office to determine the progress of the investigations, the family of abducted security analyst Mwenda Mbijiwe had a session with the new director today to determine what happened before the kidnapping of their beloved son. And as Mike Kagwongo reports, the family is hopeful that they will find their beloved one alive, asking Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to intervene so that they get justice.
June 12th last year goes down as a painful memory in the eyes of Jenny Gatweri, the mother of Mwenda Mbijiwe, a renowned security expert who disappeared in mysterious circumstances and until this day has not been found. On Monday, Jenny Gatweri is strong. Her face is full of smiles, not because of finding Mwenda Mbijiwe, but being full of hope that she will find her son.
Na nimefurahi leo kwa sababu nilikuwa na appointment ya kuona DCI, the new DCI kupitia Haki African Director. Tumeandamana pamoja na ofisi yake na tumekuja. Tumeonana na DCI. I'm so happy.
This is after having a direct meeting with the new Director of Criminal Investigation, DCI, Amin Mohamed. She says at first it was difficult to hold a session with Amin's predecessor, George Kinoti, but conducting discussions with the new director gives her a lot of hope.
Matumaini kubwa sana kwa sababu is a very good listener na nimeona ni mtu akusikiza, na kwa sababu ameambia PA wake sasa kitambo atoke kwa mkutano akute hiyo failo ya Mbijewe imeletwa na wajue the way forward.
She is still optimistic that her son Mwenda Mbijiwe will be found alive, following the early statement by ODM party leader Raila Odinga that he will talk to the retired President Uhuru Kenyatta regarding the disappearance of Mbijiwe.
Kwa wakati Raila alikuwa Meru, akasema mzee aliaga, lakini mambo ya Mwenda nitaongea na president, si lazima the former president now, si lazima ngoje mambo ya usaguzi. Hiyo tukaweka very ngundi question mark na hata tukaandika kwa mitandao.
Human rights defending organization Haki Africa director Hussein Khalid, who has been following the matter since it was reported, saying that Amin Mohammed has confirmed of resuming the investigation of the case after involving a assigned officer to the case.
So he directed that the person who is investigating this matter, the file to be presented to him today, and that as soon as he goes through the file, he will be able to follow up, and then he will get in touch with the mother to update her on the progress that they will have made.
They now want the government to hasten and aid in the investigative process so that they get justice in answer to the promises they received before the August polls.
Our call to the government is one, that the people now have a lot of faith in them. Please do not let them down, because they have shown clearly that they are committed to address this issue as a government, and the people have believed them, because we have seen action. We've seen people being taken to court. You know, we've seen the ground moving.
Niko na imani ya kwamba Mbijewe is detained somewhere where we don't know, but God never knows. Our deputy president, ninamuomba kwa sababu hata yeye ni baba, anifikiria, naona ile uchungu niko naye kama mama, aniretee mtoto wangu kama vile alisema, na Mungu atambariki.
Last week, several families affected by the extrajudicial killings and disappearances were, however, been invited for a consultative meeting with the Director of Criminal Investigations. The meeting is expected to revolve around their missing loved ones, partly attributed to enforced abductions, with some of their kin suspected to have been allegedly executed by the disbanded Special Service Unit SSU of the DCI. Mike Kagwongo, TV 47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mike Kagwongo, for that report. You're watching TV 47 News tonight. Time for us to take a short break. Stay with us. We still have a lot lined up for you.
How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga,
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga,
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
Waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
Waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
Waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
Waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with Kenya's fastest growing television. Let's get to more news. And President William Ruto has directed the Independent Policing Oversight Authority to furnish Interior Ministry with a roadmap on how to end extrajudicial killings in the country. The president has underscored the government's commitment to stop extrajudicial killings in the country. This even as 9 police officers from the disbanded Special Service Unit will now have to wait for 2 more days to know their fate. The officers who are linked to the disappearance of 2 Indians and their driver appeared in court today. Collins Lusweti tells us more.
The 9 officers appeared before the Kahawa Law Courts Monday for a hearing on an application the prosecution had made to detain the officers for 30 days over the 2 missing Indians and their taxi driver. In the hearing, the court gave the prosecution 2 days to reply to 9 affidavits filed by the police officers, ruling that they had been served on a short notice.
Indeed, it would be unfair and not in the interest of justice to expect the prosecution to respond to these total paragraphs of, I think, 200 and something within 15 to 20 minutes.
The defense lawyers had filed 9 affidavits opposing an application by the Internal Affairs Unit to detain the officers for 30 days to allow completion of investigations. Led by lead lawyer Danstan Omari, the defense counsel argued that the prosecution is almost done with the investigations, questioning the 30-day period required by the prosecution as political witch hunt.
The third issue we have raised is that the police, the state is asking for 30 days to do investigations. Within the affidavits, the state confirms that they have already done with the phones, they have already done with other facilities. So why are they asking for 30 days?
The defense also applied to court to be allowed to cross-examine 2 investigating officers in the matter who have sworn affidavits, with ruling expected in 2 days.
one on the contradictions in the state's application. We demanded to have the investigating officers, 2 of them, be cross-examined. The state's objection was not upheld, and the court allowed us that we will cross-examine the people who deponed the investigators.
Meanwhile, President William Ruto has directed the Independent Policy and Oversight Authority (IPOA) to furnish the Ministry of Interior with a roadmap on how to deal conclusively with extrajudicial killings in the country. Collins Lusweti, TV47.
Moving on, the minority side of the House has issued its list of House committee leadership in the National Assembly. According to the Minority Whip and Azimio Secretary General Junaid Mohammed, nominated MP John Badi will chair the Public Accounts Committee of the National Assembly, deputized by MP Tindi Mwale. MP Nelson Wamboka will chair the Governance and Education Committee, while Energy Committee will be chaired by David Kosing. Former Majority Whip Emmanuel Wangwe will chair the Social Services Administration and Agriculture Committee, while the Public Debt and Privatization Committee will be chaired by Budalangi Member of Parliament Raphael Wanjala. Let's get to matters education now. And public universities in Kenya have debts amounting to over 56 billion shillings. And as our senior education affairs reporter Sharon Baranga now reports, reduction of staff and restructuring operations in the universities drowning in debts is one of the recommendations made by the Universities Fund if the affected institutions of higher learning are to be bailed out.
Our focus here is geared to make sure that
the financial health status of some public universities in Kenya is wanting. Many are facing a financial crisis. Collectively, the institutions of higher learning are owing the Kenya Revenue Authority, pension schemes, part-time lecturers, SACCOs, among others, 56.1 billion shillings. The status quo in these institutions is blamed on COVID-19 and the Ukraine war. The Universities Fund says there is a way out, but there is a caveat.
The issue is not a bailout. The government has not refused to bail out. I'm very sure they will be able to. But have you sealed the problems that took you there in the first place? That is what is more important. Once we seal that in any university, then we can be able to seek a bailout. Because we are sure we are not going to be asked for another 5 billion after 1 year, or 2 years, or 3 years. So, and a university like any other institution is a going concern. It can actually collapse, because if you are not able to pay salaries, you will not be able to pay staff, you cannot pay suppliers. The next thing, maybe even there is no power, you cannot pay your power, students cannot go to class. The next thing is that there will be an exodus of students to other universities. You will not have students, you will not have enough money. So universities can close. They have closed. In Rwanda, actually, universities were even closed, and South Africa, they have closed. So it is not a unique thing.
Egerton and Moi universities have been pointed to be among the most ailing institutions of higher learning in the country financially.
To the issue of Egerton and Moi University, yes, these are universities that have got serious financial crisis, and we have recommended to them various options. Number one, Moi University has got a lot of land and Egerton, so they should be able to use this land productively so that they can be able to generate funds outside what they currently now depend on. More universities have started planting apples, and that is good action. The other actions that they must be able to take is to restructure the way they operate in terms of you must stop the bleeding that is currently happening. Because even if you are to ask for a waiver of the tax and you are still bleeding, then that will not be able to assist.
Some universities have been accused of not being transparent in giving out data which guides the funds they receive.
When universities fund requests for data, the universities, some of them increase the number of students. When the CUE wants data so that they can charge the university per student, they reduce the numbers. So what we are saying, we need to come up with an institution, and that is what we are preparing, where you can be able to authenticate all the data that is required for the sector. We'll have APIs so that we link all the institutions. That means HELB, CUE, COOPS, and all the universities. And then we can be able to check how many students were admitted to the universities, how many reported, how many did not report even per semester. Then we also start looking at the demography. Are there universities that students are dropping out more than others? Are there universities that some programs people start and drop out? Are there universities that the rate of graduation is higher than others? What are they doing right?
Universities have been advised to look for alternative ways to mobilize resources, even though some, like Kenyatta University, have tried, but their efforts are yet to bear fruits.
The administration had good intentions, but once they were developed, they were taken away from them, and the university is not benefiting from the hospital.
The manner in which sourcing for talent is done to head institutions of higher learning could also be a contributor to the downward spiral of these institutions.
When we appoint some of these folks to such positions, we rarely assess them on their competencies and ability to run such institutions, simply because sometimes we do not stipulate the competencies that are desired. In other words, if I'm choosing you as a director, do you have the knowledge? Do you have the skills? Do you have the positive attitude?
47.3 billion shillings is the current budget for government-sponsored students. Out of this, 3.3 billion shillings is for the 78,000 government-sponsored students in private institutions, and the remaining 44 billion shillings is for the 356,000 students placed in public universities. Sharon Baranga, TV 47.
Now, the government urgently needs 2 billion shillings to cushion Kenyans from the ravaging effects of drought. Meanwhile, non-governmental organizations have been urged to collaborate with the national government to help mitigate the impact of the ongoing drought. Andrin Kilemi reports.
As Kenyans continue to suffer the adverse effects of the ongoing drought, calls have been made to non-governmental organizations to join forces with the national government to help mitigate the impact of drought among the over 4 billion Kenyans. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says that the government urgently needs 2 billion shillings to effectively cushion Kenyans against the ravaging effects of drought.
I'm inviting you, CEO Safaricom and everybody else. I need urgently 2 billion shillings from the private sector.
Speaking in a meeting with private sector members drawn from the Kenya Private Sector Alliance KEPSA, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said quick interventions are needed to prevent further loss of lives.
The farmers in Nyandarua, the farmers in Kitale, Uasin Gishu, Kakamega, Busia, Vihiga, have food, and they are willing to support areas where there is no food. We need some money to compensate them in a small way because we can't take it for free because they need to plant for the next season, and we need money to transport that food.
The second in command, while launching the Pamoja Initiative program under the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, lauded the private sector for the 114 million shillings contributed so far. The government has already distributed tons of relief food to affected families in some of the counties severely affected by drought, one of the worst the country has faced in decades. The DP also said the government was working on long-term solutions to the cyclic droughts.
Let no Kenya die when you are there. Let our children not leave the classrooms. Please consider and make a contribution.
Meanwhile, 1,600 households in Narok East Sub-County are expected to benefit from 6,000 monthly cash transfers and 8,000 bags of pallets to mitigate the effects of the ongoing drought in the area.
The already selected 1,600 households will each benefit of 12,000 shillings for the 2 months. That one will be a total of almost 20 million shillings. It is 19.2 million shillings. The same areas of Ntulele, Mosiro, Ongatanado, and Inturimeti. I think they are the hard hit areas.
The unceasing drought has resulted in the death of livestock, while at the same time disrupting learning in parts of the country, as learners are unable to attend school due to lack of food. Andrin Akilemi, TV 47.
Elsewhere, expectant mothers seeking delivery services at Kachibora Hospital in Cherangani constituency, Trans Nzoia County, have a reason to smile after the hospital received delivery of 300 million shillings worth of equipment from the French government. Boniface Barasa has the details.
Kachibora Hospital, despite being upgraded to Cherangani Sub-County Hospital, has been reporting deaths of pregnant mothers due to lack of delivery equipments.
Wakati wa kujifungua, saa zingine inakupata ghafla, kitambo ufike mbali kuenda huko kama ni Kitale umehangaika.
Wamama wanateseka hapa wakikucha usiku, tena wanaenda mpaka Siwa, sasa njiani wengine wanakufia njiani.
According to them, this will go a long way in reducing the heavy burden of seeking treatment.
Sasa hii tunashukuru hii mashini imekuja hapa. Itatusaidia, hata gharama itakuwa chini badala ya kwenda mbali.
Area leaders have said this support will address infant and mother mortality cases during childbirth.
We have received equipment from the French government, specifically in support of maternal and child health.
Tumekuja hapa kupokea vifaa kutoka kwa French government na tunaimiza county government ya Trans Nzoia tuweze kujenga nyumba ambaye sinawekwa hizi vifaa sikae salama.
Sasa tutafanyiwa hapa upasuaji kwa wale wamama wenye wanajifungua na wagonjwa wengine watapata sasa huduma hapa hospitali hii yetu ya Cherangani.
Tungeomba ya kwamba infrastructure ambayo inastahilika kwa ajili ya theater room iweze kuifanyiwa haraka, maana itaweza kusaidia ili kaweza kupunguza msongamano ya referral.
From time to time, some patients, especially mothers who seek delivery services, have been forced to seek delivery services at Kitale County Referral Hospital, leading to congestion in the facility.
Na hii itasaidia sana kupunguza msongamano wa wagonjwa katika hospitali kuu ya referral ya Kitale, kwa sababu watabaki hapa wakitibiwa hapa karibu na nyumbani kwao.
Residents here claim the move will enable mothers to give birth in the right environment.
Utilization of this equipment will see a decline in infant and mother mortality cases that has been reported in the past. Boniface Barasa, TV47, Cherangani constituency, Trans Nzoia County.
Let's count the cost and get to the business. And Kenya Airways has been granted an injunction by the Employment and Labour Relations Court, staying the notice of industrial action by the Kenya Airline Pilots Association. Meanwhile, the chairman of KQ has issued a statement saying the institution has made positive talks with the current Kenya Kwanza government. KQ chairman Michael Joseph says the government appreciates the strategic importance of KQ to Kenya and its economy. Joseph adds that the board has confidence in its CEO. Naivas Supermarket has opened a new branch in Meru town. The branch was opened at Fusion's Greenwood City Mall in Meru. The retailer is anchored tenant on the mixed-used urban development which was started in 2015. Speaking during the opening of the supermarket, Fusion Group Executive Director James McLean said that they were excited to open the store before Christmas.
We are working with Meru Central. We are working with companies that are actually from here. All the fresh produce you're seeing is from here. We will try as much as possible to work with the local community, the local farmer, to empower them. Because that is the same person who in the evening is going to be giving the child some money to come and buy a pencil.
On behalf of the other suppliers, I want to say we are very happy. We have been waiting for this branch for a very long time, but finally we are here.
Now, a day after President William Ruto announced that Murang'a will be among the first counties to benefit from the affordable housing program, Kangema Member of Parliament Peter Kihungi has set aside land for the project. According to Kihungi, Kangema constituency has set aside 2 acres of land for the project, which is expected to offer employment opportunities for the youth. However, residents have been urged to vacate from public land to give room for these and other government projects.
Tunataka Kangema, tunataka Keriaini, hiyo towns yote kubwa tunataka tuhakikishe ya kwamba tunajenga manyumba.
After he made the statement yesterday, I had to work out as fast as possible. I called the governor, and the governor told me to confirm whether we have land where we can start off the program, and therefore that's why we had a meeting today morning between me, the DCC, the sub-county administrator, fiscal planner, and the MCA for us to confirm, therefore, whether we have available land that has no issues. And yet we have already confirmed that we have 2 acres.
We have accepted the program. We know it will benefit our people. We cooperate with them.
Wale wenye wako ndani, tafadhali tuangalie, tusi-encroach ama tusivamie mashamba ya serikali. Kwa sababu mbeleni kutakuja projects ambazo zitawasaidia na pia kunufaisha kila mtu.
Now, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has today launched the Kenya Youth Employment and Entrepreneurship Accelerator Program, an innovative youth employment solution by the Kenya Private Sector Alliance. Now, through that program, KEPSA shall identify new and underserved sectors with the potential to generate at least 5 million decent and sustainable jobs by 2027. The program aims to support the growth of 200,000 small businesses while crystallizing the development of 10,000 startups through the creation of 47 county business hubs.
Create these kind of jobs over this period of time. How about we start thinking about 1 million jobs, at least per year? And so what I'm going to share today is the program and some of the commitments of what can create that. And then we're going to invite many others to be part of this. And the idea of the Kenya Youth Employment and Entrepreneurship Program is to unlock the potential of the SMEs, which are mostly young people, through tailored support services that allow them to grow and create jobs for young people. Leverage on technology and digital transformation to scale the businesses. Work with the TVET ecosystem to bridge the gap between industry and training. Transform the youth labor market by contributing evidence and data that is relevant in addressing policy bottlenecks that impede accelerated job creation in the private and public.
Well, you're watching TV47 News tonight. Time for us to take another short break. Dennis Otieno is on standby with sports news. Stay with us.
How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business. Farming. Tasty Wednesday. Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
Waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
Waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
Waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
Waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Let's get to the world of sports. Dennis Otieno is with me in studio. Dennis, good evening. What do you have for us tonight?
Good evening to Abubakar Abdullahi. Now tonight we'll be telling you about the Chairman's Prize Golf Tournament and the results that were registered in that competition. We shall also be telling you about the plans to have a cricket competition, rather cricket league, getting started in the country as of next year. Those are among the many sports stories that we've lined up for you tonight. But just to start us off is Matters Golf. Now Muthaiga and Sigona Golf Club's Dhiren Shah was in fine form as he carded a differential of 30 points to defeat a field of 292 golfers as he was crowned the champion of the Chairman's Prize Golf Tournament at the Par 71 Muthaiga Golf Club course. Dhiren carded 67 points on the opening round of the competition before recording 37 points on the second day to defeat veteran golfer Sam Mbori by 1 point. Despite missing out on the overall title, Mbori won the men's title, having been on a differential of 31 points, while Newton Mwangi and Francis Irungu came in second and third respectively on the men's category. Meanwhile, in the ladies category, Olive Njagi won the first prize with 31 points, 6 ahead of second-placed Florence Marangu, while Noli Patel came in third on 38 points. Speaking after the tournament, the outgoing Muthaiga Golf Club chairman, Ronald Meru, thanked the sponsors for supporting the tournament and thanked the club members for giving him the opportunity to serve as the chairman for the past 2 years. Meanwhile, Cricket Kenya announced that it had struck a partnership deal with Absolute Sports Agency Limited as one of the steps of rebuilding cricket in the country by launching the Kenya T20 Cricket Premier League slated to begin on February 2023. The partnership deal will see the Indian-based company hosting the league for the next 5 years at the Nairobi Gymkhana Club. The league, that will be televised live, will comprise of 6 franchise clubs and will be held in a round-robin format, having a total of 33 matches. Speaking during the launch of the league, cricket chairman Manoj Patel stated that they are looking to effect changes in Kenyan cricket for the benefit of the country's reputation globally.
Today, with the partnership between APL, Absolute Sports, and Cricket Kenya, it marks a journey that shall clear the path for our players to excel. With the league expected to have international caliber players involved, our local talent can benefit immensely on that platform.
On behalf of the Ministry of Sports, to congratulate Cricket Kenya for getting partners to come on board to help support in the development of the sport. You all know that cricket has had some challenges, and for the last 4 to 5 years we've not had any international matches taking place here in Kenya. So this is a very good opportunity for the local fans to have an opportunity to see top flight players here in Kenya.
Now to matters domestic football, and Meru City FC thrashed Meru Police 1-0 in a friendly football match held at the Kinoru Stadium in Meru County. The intense match saw Julius Muyoki score the solitary goal of the match in the 80th minute. Meanwhile, Naivas FC thrashed Meru Bombers 5-0, with Johnny Walukuba scoring the opener for Naivas FC on the 28th minute. Frederick Otieno extended the lead for Naivas with his 33rd minute goal as Meru Bombers scored an own goal. Steve Osewe made it 4-0 in the 68th minute as Ken Itembei sealed the victory for Naivas FC after finding the back of the net only 10 minutes before stoppage time.
Hii imechelewa kwa kweli, ni mwezi wa 11 sasa tunaelekea na hatujaanza season. Kwa kweli tumeadhirika, tunajaribu mazoezi, tunajaribu friendly, lakini unajua bila ligi vijana hawana ile motisha ya kutokea na kucompete, sababu friendly hakuna kitu tunapigania vile. Kwa hivyo tumechelewa, lakini tunatumai mwezi huu wa Novemba ligi zitarudi. Tunatarajia waziri aweze kuangalia mpira sehemu zote za nchi, na especially sehemu hizi za Mount Kenya, sehemu hizi za Eastern ambako bado mpira hauja grow vile inavyofaa. Kwa hivyo tunamuomba aangalie sehemu zote za nchi.
And finally, to matters grassroots basketball. The Gospel International Center in Utange, Mombasa County, started a basketball tournament that aims at bringing youths in the area together by engaging them in sports, while at the same time encouraging them to shun social vices and attend church. The tournament also seeks to identify and nurture grassroots talent in basketball, who will in turn join the national basketball teams and represent Kenya in international competitions. The tournament, which attracted teams from Kwale, Kaloleni, among other areas in the coastal region, as well as students and professionals, saw Makupa Clippers defeat Diani 42-40. Tumaini Takers fall to a 29-12 defeat at the hands of Brooklyn, while Maverick thrashed Mbaraki Pirates 30-25. Speaking after the tournament, Gospel International Center Reverend Sabina Wamboi called on the youth to participate in the tournament so as to improve on their religion and avoid moral decadence.
God has put in them, as our good book says, the gifts that God puts in you will make room for you in life. But you have to be able to have a relationship with Him so that that can become a reality.
Katika tournament kama hii tunakuza vipawa vya vijana na pia tunawa engage so that wasijiingize katika mambo ya drug abuse nini. Unaona ukiwashikilia namna hii wanakuwa hawana time ya kwenda kufanya vitu ambavyo havina maana.
That is all we had prepared for you in the world of sports. Now you're up to speed with the latest sports stories taking shape locally as well as internationally. My name is Dennis Otieno. I wish you a lovely night as I take it back to Bakar Abdullahi.
And Dennis, perhaps before we finish, we talk matters sports, in particular football, because of our bias.
Yeah.
It was high five from Arsenal.
Absolutely, some brilliant football coming off the Arsenal side. Remember, a lot of people had negatively critiqued Arsenal, saying that they would not go the distance of up to 13 match weeks. And as of now, we're in match week 14, heading into match week 15. And Arsenal has gone ahead to prove that, they're serious league, or rather serious title contenders. Seeing Arsenal playing that much against Nottingham Forest and beating Nottingham by 5-0, sumptuous goals, especially that one from Thomas Partey. I mean, it was amazing to see that. Remember, it is the same Nottingham Forest that defeated a fierce Liverpool side by 1-0. So it's quite brilliant to see Arsenal performing on that caliber.
It's good to see you put a caveat that a lot of people, instead of Manchester United fans, you included.
Myself included. I mean, I was actually expecting Nottingham would have won that match after seeing them defeat Liverpool. But football is round. It can bounce to either side of the pitch. But talking about Manchester United, they were playing against West Ham United, and they won that match narrowly by a 1-goal victory. And almost at some point towards the end of the game, United almost lost the game. But remember, Abubakar, whether you win a match by 5 goals like Arsenal or 12 goals like Manchester City,
that is the new justification
of
United fans.
Or 1 goal like Manchester United, it all goes down to the table, and a win is a win, and all that matters are the 3 points given to all these different clubs.
Dennis, Ronaldo is not the problem at Manchester, seemingly, is it? He scored when he started. He made impressive runs over the weekend.
Yeah.
Clearly, Ronaldo is not a problem at Manchester United.
And it's very good to see that, it's not Ronaldo who is the problem at Manchester United. And you look at the kind of work that Erik ten Hag has done on the Manchester United side. Nowadays, we see Cristiano Ronaldo, the fierce attacker, pressing back and trying to win back the ball, something that was very rare to see in the past. But when it comes to the attacking side, remember, this is a United side that is still trying to figure out the tactics that their manager wants them to employ. So it is a rebuilding side, a side that is looking into different ways into scoring. But when you look at how United are playing, they're actually dominating most of their games. But finding the back of the net has been the tricky bit of the United side, but they're slowly getting to that mark by the day.
Dennis, a potential top 4 finish for Aston Villa? For Newcastle, rather?
For Newcastle, absolutely. We see a Newcastle side that is very fired up to go for a top 4 finish, or probably get into the Champions League after such a long time. And once the players get fired up on all cylinders, they just don't know how to, stop. You see Almiron producing brilliant plays. Bruno Guimaraes, who was signed just this season and producing fantastic football, and Wilson. These are players who are just fired up to score, and every match you could see